In this lesson, we're going to look at fixed and variable costs that you might come across when you own or operate a car. So what we're going to focus on is calculating annual fixed ownership costs of buying or leasing a vehicle, identifying and calculating variable operating costs associated with owning a vehicle, and calculating the average monthly costs of owning and operating a vehicle. The outcomes we're going to cover are determining costs of operating a vehicle, including fixed costs such as extended warranty, insurance, and licensing, and ongoing costs such as gas and maintenance. So when we're talking about fixed and variable costs, it's a good idea to know what each of them are. Fixed costs are costs that do not change from month to month. They have to be paid regardless of how much the vehicle is used. So some examples include licensing fees, your insurance, and your extended warranty if you choose to have one. And an extended warranty is an agreement you make with your dealer for your car at the time of purchase to add additional coverage for certain maintenance and repairs over and above what the manufacturer will normally offer at the start of your purchase. So there's also a note here I have on insurance. We have to be aware of three types of insurance that we'll often come across. The first is liability insurance, and in Canada that's a required insurance. And this is an insurance that protects you from damage due to the usage of your car. So that's things such as injury or death or property damage that may result from the use of your car. Collision insurance, it protects you in the case of an auto accident. So if you get into a collision, this insurance will help protect you from the costs that may be associated with getting in a collision. And comprehensive, this one is a required insurance if you have a lease, because it protects you from damage of the car when your car is not necessarily in use, such as vandalism or theft, and also environmental concerns. So if there's a flood and it damages your car, things of that nature, things out of your control essentially, are covered under comprehensive insurance. And you can imagine that when you lease a car, the leasing company would want to have their car returned to them at the end of the lease, or to be able to recoup any losses they might have as a result of not getting the car back. So it would make sense that they would require this type of insurance if you do lease a car. Okay, so we're going to look at a couple of examples now, looking at the differences between fixed and variable costs in a car. Aiden is buying a car and wants to know the fixed costs for his purchase. The details of his purchase are: he makes payments of $2,302.20 per year over 5 years. His annual insurance premium is $2,500. His manufacturer's warranty is for the first 4 years, or 80,000 kilometers, whichever comes first, and that's included in the price. And he has the option to buy an extended warranty, which will add an additional 2 years up to 120,000 kilometers on the maintenance and repairs costs. And that will be an extra $1,200 on top of the cost of buying the vehicle. So we want to calculate Aiden's total monthly fixed cost to start. So to do that, we have to calculate his monthly car payment. He's paying $2,302.20 a year, and there are 12 months in the year. So we divide that by 12, and it gives us that he's paying $191.85 every month on his car payment. For his insurance, he's also paying his insurance out annually, or the quote is an annual insurance rate. And that works out to $2,500 for the year, which, again, if he wants to determine monthly payments, he has to divide the $2,500 by 12 to tell us that his annual insurance, or sorry, his monthly insurance premium is going to be $208.33. When you split up an insurance payment over many, or your insurance amount over many payments, we call them premiums. So the total amount that he'll end up paying every month will be the two of these numbers combined. So $191 plus and 85 cents plus $208.33. The total amount he's going to be paying out every month on his car, fixed costs, guaranteed he's going to be paying these, is $400.18. Next, we're going to see that Aidan plans to drive this car for as long as possible. In other words, he's going to drive it until it won't run anymore. So what will his monthly fixed costs be after the loan is paid off? Well, the loan payments are over, so he'll only have his insurance premiums, which means that his monthly payment will be reduced to $208.33. Next, we know that Aidan drives about 25,000 kilometers per year. Should he buy the extended warranty? Recall that the extended warranty was an additional $1,200 that he'd have to pay out over the term of his payments. He would spread it out over the term of his payments, so it would be an additional cost on his payments. And it covers, his manufacturer's warranty covers the first 4 years or 80,000 kilometers. If he drives 25,000 kilometers per year, he's going to run out of his warranty, his manufacturer's warranty, before the 4 years are up, because he'll have driven over 80,000 kilometers before the 4 years are up. So as a result of that, the manufacturer's warranty will be up before 4 years. So that extended warranty will protect the car for an additional time. This will likely be up during the 5th year. So this might be a reason to consider buying the extended warranty. But there might be reasons for not buying the extended warranty. Major repairs on a car may not be necessary in the first 5 years. The extended warranty may run out before any extensive repairs are necessary. So he may have paid $1,200 in addition to what he paid for the car and not have any use for it. So he may need to consider this possibility, that he may not actually have $1,200 worth of repairs over the course of owning the car, or over the course of the first 5 years of owning the car. So I'm not going to say whether he should or shouldn't buy the extended warranty. That's not really my decision to make, and it's not really your decision to make unless you are the one making the car purchase. It would be the owner's decision. So again, it's best to weigh out all of your options and determine what would be some advantages and disadvantages, and determine which would be the best option for you in a situation such as this. Okay, there are fixed costs. Fixed costs, again, are costs that you will have to pay out regardless of how much you use your car. Then there's also these variable costs, and they're costs that change in amount or in how frequently they are paid. Examples of variable costs include the gas used by, the purchase of tires, and maintenance. And all of these are completely dependent on how much you use your car. So the distance you drive, the climate you're in, your driving style, and maintenance all affect the variable costs. So we're going to look at an example here of determining variable costs in a car. Valerie is planning to buy a used car and wants to know some of the variable costs. The car is 3 years old and has a mileage of 60,342 kilometers. Valerie wants to know how much she will spend on gas each month. She estimates that she will drive about 1,700 kilometers per month. She knows that the vehicle's fuel consumption is 7.9 liters per 100 kilometers. Use the current cost of gas to calculate the amount Valerie will likely spend on gas each month. Okay, the first thing we're going to need to know is how much gas will she consume in a month. If we know she's driving 1,700 kilometers on average every month, and that the fuel consumption is 7.9 liters per 100 kilometers, we have to calculate the total amount of fuel that will be burned every month. Okay, and to do that, we multiply the cost per 100 kilometers of our gas, and by cost I mean the consumption, times the number of kilometers that are driven. So 7.9 liters per 100 kilometers times 1,700 kilometers will give us a total amount of gas of 134.3 liters, or about 134. So about 134 liters are used every month. So it said use current gas prices, but depending on when you're watching this video, the gas prices could fluctuate. So what we're going to do is assume for the time being that gas is at a price of $1.35 a liter. It could be a bit more than that when you watch this video. It could be a bit less. It could be a lot less or a lot more. But we're going to assume for the time being that we're at $1.35 a liter. So the monthly cost of gas will then be, we have 134 liters, recall, every month. 134 liters times $1.35 per liter. This gives us a total amount of $180.90 roughly every month. And these are rough estimates. They're not exact numbers. So it's about $180, $181 will be spent every month on gas. So even though Valerie's car is still covered by a warranty, she will have to pay for regular maintenance. The table shows some common maintenance requirements. The schedule is completed, the schedule to complete them, and the cost. If Valerie does all of the maintenance according to schedule, how much will she spend on maintenance in the first year she owns the car? Assume she drives about 20,000 kilometers per year. Well, we can see that she has to change the oil and filter every 3 months, or 5,000 kilometers. That's $40, including her taxes. To rotate her tires, that happens every 3 months, or 5,000 kilometers. And that will be a $20 cost. Every 12 months, she'll want to replace her air filter, and that'll cost $30. And every 6 months, she'll want to replace the windshield wipers, and that'll be $25 every time. So in the first year, there will be 4 oil changes, because there's 20,000 kilometers driven and an oil change every 5,000. 4 tire rotations. Every time she changes her oil, she's going to get her tires rotated as well. There's only going to be 1 air filter replacement, because that only has to happen once a year. And there's going to be 2 times that she replaces the wipers, because that should happen every 6 months or twice a year. So to determine the total cost, first we're going to have to multiply the number of oil changes by the cost per oil change, which is 4 oil changes of $40 each, or $160. Then our tire rotations, there are 4, and they're $20 each. Gives us a total value of $80. The air filter replacement, there's only 1 at a cost of $30, which means that it's going to cost her $30 for the year. And there were 2 wiper replacements at $25 each, which gives her a total cost of $50. So to determine how much she's going to have to pay in total in the first year on maintenance, we add up all the numbers together, 160 plus 80 plus 30 plus 50, and that gives us a total amount that she has to consider of $320. The warranty on Valerie's car expires after 5 years, or 100,000 kilometers. If she continues to drive the car for another 3 years, how much should she budget for repairs after the warranty expires? The table below shows some common repairs, the schedule to complete them, and the cost. So you can see that every 50,000 kilometers you replace your front brakes. Every 100,000 you replace the back brakes. Every 4 years you're going to want to replace the tires. And you're going to want to replace the timing belt every 150,000 kilometers. And you see the associated costs as well. So she buys the car, there's about 60,000 kilometers on it. So after 3 years, at 20,000 kilometers a year, she'll have driven 160,000 kilometers in total. This, of course, includes the 3 years after her warranty is up. So she will have driven the car for as long as the warranty is there, and then she decides to drive the car for another 3 years. So that's where we get the 160,000 kilometers. So she should expect in this time that she will have had driven the car herself for about 100,000, and the car will have gone through 160,000. That she should expect 2 front brake replacements, 1 back brake replacement, 1 new set of tires over this time, and 1 new timing belt. The total cost on the front brakes, 2 brake replacements, will be 2 times $250, or $500 in total. For the back brakes, 1 replacement at $250 will give us a total of $250 on our back brakes. Her new set of tires, she's going to need 1 set at $600 a set, which means it's going to cost her $600. And her timing belt will be $1,000 because she replaces 1. So the total amount she should expect to pay over the next 3 years on other major repairs would be, to add them all together, we get $2,350. So if you add them together, you should see that it equals $2,350. So what is Valerie's total ongoing variable cost to drive the car for 8 years? Include gas, maintenance, and repairs. So the first thing we need to know is we know how much she spends per month, roughly, about $180 on gas. To determine how much she's going to spend per year then on gas, we have to multiply the monthly amount by the number of months, 180 times 12. And this means that she's going to consume about $2,160 per year on gas. So the total over 8 years for everything would be the $2,160 a year for gas times the 8 years, plus roughly $320 a year in maintenance times the 8 years of ownership. And finally, she should expect to spend $2,350 in repairs on the car. So we add them together, and that equals $22,190. So what that means is over the course of 8 years, she should expect about $22,000 in variable costs in relation to the car. So to summarize this lesson, there are 2 types of costs that we must consider besides our car payments when owning or leasing a car. Our fixed costs are in addition to the payments, but they are also regular and expected payments, and it has no bearing on how much you use the car. So they include things such as insurance, licensing, and an extended warranty. So they do not change regardless of the amount of usage of your car. Variable costs do change as a result of the usage of the car, and these variable costs could include things such as gas, maintenance, and repairs. And we should always be keeping this additional monetary amounts in mind when we're budgeting to determine how much we can afford if we are looking to buy our own car.